Welcome back. I am simply responding today to a complaint. Um, so the guy with the black car decided that it was smart to file a complaint, and then I invite all complaints as long as they're legitimate. But when you start lying to the Better Business Bureau, Department of Agriculture, Florida Department of Revenue, whatever, MasterCard, Amex, you start lying to these people, it's so easy to pick them apart. And when people get mad, they tend to do stupid things like lie. So this guy is no exception, although I've had worse people in my shop. Uh, but right now, what he's stating is the owner of the business will not answer the phone or email. That's a quote, okay? And my response was starting a complaint with lying does not help. You spoke with Larry no less than 3 times last week. Why did you forget to mention that in your complaint? So that's a real simple way to just say, hey, why didn't you mention the fact that you did actually speak to somebody? Moving on. What he did is he took what I emailed him back before I knew what he was doing to the car, um, and he sort of copied and pasted that into the thing. So I'm answering him one line at a time. So I said to him before, how is Chris feeling about your car's current situation? I put at that time I was feeling great because I felt like I was making some headway because I was dealing with the powertrain, not with the body. Okay, he was messing around with the body. So my response was the current situation was yes, great until I discovered how much damage you did to the car from trying to work on it yourself before bringing it in. On top of that, you admitted to me that you never once had your brake fluid changed. Let's do some simple math. You have owned the car since 2007, so that would be 6 services you did not have completed, and now the system appears to be damaged. So, if you were working on your own car, why did you not complete that maintenance? 12-year-old brake fluid is supposed to destroy the brake system. That's why it must be replaced regularly. So that was my response for that. Then the next one is Chris's forecast of the chances the car will be still here in the month of April. And at that time, before I had this knowledge, it was extremely low, unless more work is ordered by the customer. But then that's what I said back then. This is what I say now to that. Yes, extremely low considering I did not know that you were trying to fix the EMF yourself. I discovered this while you were on vacation. We took a week off around Easter time. I found components installed upside down, something a technician would not have trouble completing, but an owner trying to crawl into his own trunk to repair would certainly have trouble doing. Okay? So I think that's what happened. He just got impatient. He couldn't understand why these clips wouldn't go in. And the bottom line is that these components were installed upside down. Okay, and this is something that if you know what you're doing, you don't install things. At least you don't leave it like that. You might come back the next day, get a night's sleep or something. Nah, this guy's busy. He's got to be able to just shove shit in there and then close it up and say, well, it's got to be fixed because I fucking touched it. Yeah, right. Then the last one is Chris's forecast of the chances the car will be completed within the next 10 days. I put high based on the current information, which I responded to and said, once the customer has been caught working on their own car and caused damage, okay? So if you work on your own car and you don't cause damage, maybe you cause damage, but it's not affecting me, or it's not involved with what's going on, then I don't even pay attention to those categories, okay? But when you work on your own car and it causes damage that I am tied into, you are 100% responsible. And my case was once you've been caught working on the car and caused damage, you lose your right to demand when anything is going to happen, okay? All labor times are based on qualified work being done, not work being done by someone who thinks they can run $1 million company and fix their own 7 Series. You need a reality check. I look forward to hearing you answer these questions and more in court. So, boop, very simple. Please take me to court. I would love it. I would love to just sit there and tell exactly what I've done, because if the court wants to bash me, now, there were some minor things like I should have had him sign a retainer storage form. I should have had him sign an estimate waiver and a few other things. But this is not going to stand up. My best friend is the court system, apparently, and I'm more than happy to have him try to explain to a judge why it makes sense. Because either he's going to continue lying and get caught again. He's already been caught once. Once you've been caught lying, you got problems, okay? Because now you got to say, why do we believe anything you say now? Because once you've been caught lying, you're probably going to just keep lying. And so he's not in a very good situation. I did take the car for a test drive today. It is acting a little weird, and I don't believe it has anything to do with the engine or the powertrain. What I believe it has something to do, well, it's a hunch, but when I get into these situations, what I do is I take it back to the way it was. You know, whenever you have a problem with the BMW that just seems to be impossible, like it just for some reason you can't fix it, start putting components back the way they were. Okay, so if you have an aftermarket device in there, and there's some reason to suspect that that's involved, you might have to substitute it out temporarily to see, like go either borrow one from another car, shove it in there, and if the problem goes away, now you know it's your AMF. Okay, your AMA, excuse me, your aftermarket application. If it turns out that you stuff that in there and it has no effect, all right, then maybe that one aftermarket application is not causing complications. But you're going to have to start that strategy of putting things, look at the maintenance, and look at putting things back the way they were. The number one cause, by far, is people putting in unapproved AMAs in the car, okay? When you have stuff that just won't, you're pulling your hair out. You're like, oh my God, what the hell? Don't do that. Just relax. Just start thinking about like catalog how many things are basically out of spec. And then you could start prioritizing the likelihood of each and every one of those. So, you know, if you have this new cool LED ashtray light and it doesn't seem to be affecting anything, then don't worry about it, you know. But if you're down to that, that's the only thing in the car, and this car is doing like some weird, crazy shit, you might want to consider unplugging it or something, you know. So it's not a brutal. You know, I hate AMAs. I'm just saying that AMAs are the number one productivity killer because people will not they will not admit that this thing that they spent money on is causing these problems. And so if you can prove that, then your little device can go right back in and it's no problem. Not all AMAs cause problems, but when you mix unqualified people putting AMAs in a 7 Series BMW, you have the perfect recipe for shit, okay? So if you want to be in denial, be in denial. But in reality, it just depends on how much you've been monkeying with the car. And this guy's been monkeying with the car way too much, and now he's trying to act like he doesn't have to pay the piper, okay? So anything else, I'll report it in another video. Like and subscribe.